From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. A world exclusive delivered on this channel this week twice as the Democratic caucus members, House and Senate, report to viewers of this channel that negotiations are near complete on the inclusion of a monthly stimulus check IRS into the fourth stimulus reconciliation budget bill of $3.5 trillion. That will pay a month every month for 6 months after the first month of $2,000, running $1,000 thereafter. The new details today include the following new world exclusives. That number one, the negotiations may be now complete. Number two, that Pelosi and Warren asked for a lot more monthly, but couldn't get it. They wanted up to $1,400 monthly. And they wanted 12 months, but couldn't get it, but they got this. Number three, that the authors will be Jalapal, Omar, and Pelosi, and also AOC. Number four, that the bill may be released this coming week. The details today is that House members are in actual meetings, actually all weekend long going into next week. They're finalizing the language of all the items, doing what's called a markup. These exclusive details I can reveal to you are that Pelosi has near finalized and is ready to call a vote on the House side any moment. I'll have all the details of the first 645 pages of that reconciliation budget bill that has checks for seniors, workers, cars, vehicles, also hazard pay, money for individuals, money for families, $51,000 of MSCs, and also other checks for the home and repairs across the board. There's a lot of checks in there. I'm going to go over all those details. I'll also be going over what's happening with that additional $13 billion that's coming out to cities, counties, and states. And then I'll be going over the debt ceiling limit, which likely is to lapse next week. I'll have everything you need to know about that and more as a big Mornings LA gets underway. Afternoons LA, evenings LA, I don't care what you call it. You can call it butter. It's time for the news, and it starts right now. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful afternoon across the globe. There is so much happening today, and I'm so excited you're joining me. The latest details is that the House members are likely to debut the House bill of the $3.5 trillion package early next week. The inclusion in there, says Pelosi's office to no less than half a dozen viewers of this channel, is a monthly stimulus check provision that runs $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000 and would pay out over 6 months. The world exclusive delivered only on this channel after the advocacy of you, the viewers of this channel, got the push underway. We'll go over more about that advocacy, why you have to advocate down to the finish line. Then we'll be going over each of the clusters. There are no less than 3 clusters, which I have been revealing on this channel. Lots of checks. I want you to be prepared to get these checks and everything you need to know about them in this recording. We'll be going to the incredible second cluster of items, third cluster of items, and then the surprise, as an additional $13 billion is coming out to your cities, counties, and states. This came out of nowhere, and then the big wonder about what's happening with the debt ceiling limit. I'll explain that all later in this video. It's a big morning, it's a big afternoon, and it's going to be a big evening because this weekend, Congress is meeting and getting things done on your reconciliation budget bill. And I have the world exclusives because this is LA, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto, evenings LA, and shows at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11:30 p.m. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers to YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family, where what exclusives delivered only on this channel. You're going to hear the latest detail, the most specifics, and the most in-depth coverage of the reconciliation budget bill anywhere in the United States right here. Subscribe. Also like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut to the details starting right now. What's important to understand is that a $3.5 trillion reconciliation budget bill may have already been finally written. There are reports today that signal that they're just doing final edits and that these aren't really major substantive edits. 3 different viewers phoned Pelosi's office on behalf of this channel late last week going into the weekend, and Pelosi's office confirmed to all 3 separate viewers that the deal had already been reached, that the inclusion of that monthly stimulus check is in there, that they've actually started to write it up or have finished writing it up. AOC, Omar, and Jayalapal, and of course Pelosi. During the negotiations, Pelosi asked for 12 months, couldn't get it. Also, Warren asked the same. Pelosi also asked for $1,400 a month, couldn't get it. Warren asked the same. What they agreed upon, $1,000 a month over 6 months, with the first month $2,000. Moreover, this inclusion on the reconciliation budget bill is likely to pass in a blink of an eye in the House. I've been reporting over the last 3 months the following exclusives. That one, that the House is doing the write-up, they are, of the actual authoring of the bill. And number 2, they will be calling the vote first. This is critical to send a message to the American people that this is what Americans want and this is what House Democrats have. With a 3-person margin of error in a margin of leadership or dominance in the House among Democrats, Pelosi believes she has every single Democratic vote to pass this inclusion. It's huge. And there you go. It's the result of this channel's advocacy, you. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you have to continue to advocate down to the finish line, because this is just step 1. And guess what? You want to make sure that things stay in there. In the last 7 days, what has happened is that House Democrats have been taking things in and out of the reconciliation budget bill that don't concern you, that don't concern your dollar, that concern things like inheritance tax. Not very much covered in broadcast media, but this is what the markups are doing. It's a very fluid situation. But the great news is that after 8 weeks of lobbying, pushing, and advocating, the viewers of this channel may have gotten for the American people what they so deserved. It was the advocacy that started here and may have ended here, with viewers of this channel and this channel potentially once again getting Americans a stimulus check. In December 2020, this channel got Americans a second stimulus check when I came up with the idea of insertion of a stimulus check in the continuing resolution budget bill. And now, after weeks of pushing, and you're going to see that advocacy in this channel today, you're going to see that we're near the edge of the finish line. Let's get to the first 645 pages of that reconciliation budget bill for a second, because there's a lot of money in there. I'm going to go over the first set of cluster checks in that first 645 pages. Then I'll go over cluster number 2, and then I'll go over cluster number 3. That first 645 pages has checks in there for hazard pay, seniors, children, MSC, bikes, cars, vehicles, home repairs, and also college students. Why just 645 pages? These are the first 645 pages released so far. And all the checks in this recon are not COVID related. So you do not have to have any COVID issues to be qualified for. The first check is the hazard pay. This channel was the soul, the heart and beat of the American people on advocating for hazard pay, the only place on the planet with no less than 500 videos in 2020 advocating for hazard pay. And now it's going to be a lifetime benefit. Hazard pay will be included in the fourth stimulus package by taking an old tax code called the Earned Income Tax Credit, expanding the eligibility so more essential workers qualify for it, and expanding the amount of money that you get paid. Every year that you work as an essential worker, you would get this hazard pay payment. It's incredible news. Then a big surprise is up to $4,000 to care for the elderly. Eligibility is still pending, but it's looking like a care provider at home that cares for the elderly would get up to $4,000. That number is confirmed. And up to $4,000 on the other side to care for a young child. Wow. How about money for college students? It's in there as well. Those money for college students are incredible, with a grant directly to the university, a grant to the student, and then also making the Pell's grant tax-free. Home repairs in there as well. Home repairs, if you're in a low-income community, are getting big sums of money, automatically free money from the federal government. And then $51,000 of MSC monthly stimulus checks, CTC. This is huge. This is huge. Currently, we're underway with the current CTC, which is not refundable. You do not have to refund it. It started paying out under third stimulus, where they're going to make this a lifetime under fourth stimulus. How does this work? If you just gave birth to a newborn child and you're in a low-income family, you're going to get up to $300 a month every month for up to 18 years. Let's go over the calculations. Let's say that family remains low-income household over the next 18 years. Then you'll get up to $300 every month, every year, for up to 18 years for that child, which amounts to $51,000. Wow. Then we got checks for bikes, cars, and also trucks. All electric, all U.S. manufactured. The first one, bikes. Up to 15% for the purchase price of a new electric bicycle. Then up to $7,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle for personal use. A little more if the vehicle is for business use, and a little more if the vehicle is a truck and it's electric for business use. Wow. In a second, we're going to go over cluster number 2. That is up to $1,700 a week for checks. And cluster number 3, that is checks for free internet and checks for seniors. But first, let's take a detour for a second to third stimulus. This is huge. Third stimulus gets great news coupled with the world exclusives on this channel about the nonprofits. At the same time that the federal government is giving out $13 billion of extra money for rent and utilities to the cities and counties and states, the nonprofits are also stepping up and paying you money as well. Let's go over first the $13 billion. The federal government is happy, Treasury is happy to provide the state and local governments with these additional resources to help Americans in need of rental assistance. Third stimulus was to give a total of $47 billion to cities, counties, and states across the country. But the last $13 billion had not gone out. Now it has. Every city, county, state, red, blue, rich, or poor is getting this money. And the nonprofits are also stepping up and paying money as well. That's coming up later in this video. Stay to the very end. I got a lot of money for you in this video. Let's cut now back to second cluster and third cluster checks. There's a second cluster check and there's a third cluster checks. These are getting in there. They haven't finished writing them up. They're going over the amounts. The second cluster is huge payments. The first one is paid family and paid medical leave. What is family leave? You have to stay home because your wife is pregnant. Paid medical leave. You have to stay home because your son broke his leg. How much does it pay? A fortune. Under third stimulus was supposed to pay $1,700 a week if you make $70,000. Excuse me, $1,700 a week if you make over $70,000 a year. Well, let's split it in half. If you let's say make $35,000 a year, you would get $800 a week. Let's split in half again. Let's say you make $15,000 a year, you would get $40. Let's say you make $15,000 a year, you would get $400 a week. It's hard to do numbers on the top of your head on camera, but there you go. $15,000 a year, you would get $400 a week. It's huge. Then they got other checks, including no less than 11 other ones. Checks for childcare programs, checks for household credits. Then it checks for seniors like Medicare, lowering the eligibility age, checks for dental, checks for vision, checks for hearing, and then checks for weatherizing your home. This is huge, especially if the Purple Hawks are on the roof. I mean, especially if the Purple Hawks are on Fox News' roof. Great visual there. Well, guess what? Weatherizing your home, if you have to repair the home because of tornadoes or prepare for tornadoes, fires, hurricanes, flooding, federal government will give you checks to incentivize you to weatherize that home. Then come more checks for students and education. First, pre-kindergarten free across the country. And then free tuition-free community college. Definitely needed, especially because of a particular course that's surging the country. It's very popular. It's spreading across the entire country right now. It's called What the Hell is LATE Saying 101. You know, he just talks really funny. Don't understand him. It's a foreign language. They offer other foreign languages like Spanish and French and Italian. And then there's LATE language. It's just very strange. So you can take that class to figure out what the world I'm saying. Then we got checks for green energy and more. And there you go. Well, where is Congress? Congress this weekend is actually working. They are actually in meetings. A meeting is confirmed for Saturday afternoon. Another one confirmed for Sunday afternoon. Reports the congressional record. These meetings are to mark up final edits to the $3.5 trillion reconciliation budget bill. What's going on? The first 645 pages released to the American public and us and you and me over a week and a half ago. but I told you they have likely finished writing the other items. In the middle of the week, Chuck Schumer had this press conference where he said the framework of the recon was done, and Pelosi was in that press conference as well. The president walked it back because he didn't like that terminology. He didn't want to make it look like the whole bill was sort of a take it or leave it. So they were still modifying language. In fact, they took out the inheritance tax in the middle of the week. They added in potentially something for another tax from Ron Wyden's recommendation. But by the end of the week, my sources from Pelosi's office, no less than 3 viewers got confirmation from Pelosi's office to this channel that the inclusion of the MSC IRS stimulus check was getting written up then and being added. So it is very likely that by Monday, the entire reconciliation budget bill is actually written and has been edited and then re-edited. It may actually be that it's already written as of the time of this broadcast. We really don't specifically know. What we do know, it's going to be sort of a lightning speed affair on the House side. That the House is going to say, here it is, calling for a vote, get it done, passed. You're going to see it really blink. It's not going to be a whole drawn out negotiation affair. That is why the efforts of this channel to advocate ahead of drafting worked, it appeared, because that when they get it ready, it looks like the moment they're just going to do it very, very quickly on the House side. All right, now let's cut to the third cluster checks with an additional $107 billion world exclusive, which I have located, and guess where it's going? You. So here are some of the checks in that third cluster, and this is the president's cluster. The checks the president wants in there. Free school meals for all checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, checks for free internet, checks for election, checks for farmers, checks for clean energy, checks for independent contractors, workers, checks for seniors, like lowering Medicare age, checks for dental, checks for vision, checks for hearing care. Well, one of the things that people have been asking me is, how do I get this? How did I get that? The obvious answer, easiest answer is to say it's not a law yet. But understand what this channel will be doing is that when everything becomes law, I'm going to walk you through and show you how to get everything. That's what I've been doing since day one. No one anywhere, any place, any broadcaster walks you through 30, 40, 50 different particular items you can get and shows you video after video how you do it. That's what I will be doing for you. So the big surprise is that this third cluster has an additional money back for you. What happened? Over a week ago, the Senate parliamentarian ruled one of the provisions in there that was to give money to the judiciary, not to you, can't go to the judiciary. Wow. And with that, I went back to my old notes, checked, and I cross-referenced, and I realized, wait a second, that's $107 billion that was allocated to judiciary. Not anymore. It's going to you. You're only hearing this on the channel. Then two of the sets of checks in that third cluster are automatic. That's why they are absolutely desired by the president. I think they're wonderful. The first one is the cheaper prescription medication. How would this work? Let's say you go to the pharmacy today and buy a prescription, pay for a prescription. You take two $20 bills out of your wallet and pay. This becomes law shortly thereafter. Then when you go back to refill, you may only have to take out one $20 bill from your wallet. Instant savings in your pocketbook. Then, free internet. The federal government's going to give fortunes to cities, counties, and states so that you can have free internet. That allocation is important because millions of Americans need internet, and it'll be free. Some of the free internet companies may be also called T-Mobile. Sirloin is trying to do one of them. He's trying to call it T-Mobile. And when you call up and ask for the username and password, then they'll say, it's Blaine 666. And the username is Scarf1. So there you go. In the second half of this video, we'll be going over more about the world exclusive, only heard on this channel, as the insertion of that monthly stimulus check provision has been represented by no less than almost a dozen Democratic senators and House members to viewers of this channel. Over hundreds and hundreds of viewers of this channel have gotten confirmation of that indication of more about that world exclusive. We'll be cutting the third stimulus, which is still paying out big sums of money. With that additional cash infusion, you want to get it. I'll also go to the nonprofits that are paying big money for viewers of this channel within a 24-hour turnaround time this week. You need to get this money as well. We'll be cutting it to the debt ceiling limit, which is likely to lapse this coming week. I'll explain everything you need to know. And then we'll be cutting shortly to fifth stimulus as well. It's a big show, and I ask for you to stay with me. I'll have exciting details coming up in the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay with me. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Afternoons LALATE, direct from Santa Monica, California, as we go over more about the world exclusive on this channel. The negotiations near complete or are complete. The writing of the reconciliation insertion of a stimulus check provision either written or actually finished. The inclusion of monthly stimulus checks that run $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000. Staffers for Pelosi's office tell multiple viewers of this channel. Staffers from senators and House members confirm the same, and it's all documented in a massive world exclusive that only this channel indicates. We'll go over what Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, and Wyden's office have told viewers of this channel about the MSC IRS check, Jalapal, AOC, and Omar, and what you need to do and continue to advocate. We'll go over why advocacy is far from over and why you need to advocate down to the finish line. We'll be going also over the exciting great details as an additional $13 billion landing in cities, counties, and states for rent. These huge cash infusions are available right now, and the nonprofits are also paying big sums of money. I'm going to show you how to get these big sums of money. And then we turn to the big exciting details of the debt ceiling limit. Does it impact us? Does it not? I'll explain to you what this debt ceiling limit means. And then we'll be cutting to fifth stimulus. It's a big show, and we got a lot coming up still. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you for tuning in today because I told you this weekend is not a weekend to disappear and come back on Monday saying, what did I miss? Because guess what? There's a lot going on. The senators and House members are meeting and working on this weekend, and I have the latest details coming up in the final 15 minutes of the video. Also, like the video and consider becoming a member. Let's cut right to the big surprise. As the President of the United States dedicated $13 billion of additional funds out to city, counties, and states for rent, utility, food, and internet and more. What went on? Well, an additional $13 billion was sent out from Treasury, starting not this week, but the week before. It's for rent, utilities, and internet. And I want you to get this money. Let's go over all the money. Get a pen, paper, and cell phone ready. What I'm going to show you is rent, utilities, food, internet, mortgage assistance, and more. And we're going to start with the rent. The rent has gone up 200% on this channel. The utilities, people are getting 300% more than they were getting a month before. And when we talk about the SNAP, it's gone up 400%. Let's look at the big sums of money that viewers are now getting. These were the numbers a month ago. Viewers a month ago, Purple Hawks, I hope you remember, were getting $20,000 to $27,000 from this channel. Guess what? Viewers are now getting upwards of $40,000 for rent from this channel, like Jen and other viewers. Then, when we talk about utilities, countless viewers are getting over $15,000, a 300% increase, like Mark's brother-in-law, like Johnny's friends. Then, when we turn to the money for SNAP, SNAP has increased astronomically from $5,000 to now $21,000 for Mark's brother-in-law. So let's go over all these big sums of money that you can get right now, starting with the four items. I'm going to show you 6 places you reach out to. Reach out to all 6. They have different eligibility. They have different pots of money. If one says no, reach out to the next one. Number 2, listen to the keywords I say in this video. It helps get people approved. And also finally listen for the nonprofits. All right, here are the 6 places you reach out to. Your city hall, your city house authority. Your county hall, your county house authority. Your state hall, and your state house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. Let's go over those 6 places again. City hall, city house authority. County hall, county house authority. State hall, and state house authority. Daily, I deliver at about 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time the LA newsletter to viewers of this channel Monday through Friday. It's important to understand that in that newsletter, which has now been upgraded, I include a link to the Treasury press release announcing the $13 billion going out to cities and counties and states. I want you to read that letter before you call up. Because when you call up, they may not yet have the money. I want you to ask them whether they have it. If they don't, say, can I be on the waiting list? If they don't have a waiting list, ask them if you can call the next day. It's important to understand that if you've gotten sums of money before for rent on this channel, I want you to get more money. Next, utilities. If you have multiple utility companies, reach out to all of them. So, for example, if you have 5, reach out to 5. Utility assistance because of COVID, that's the keyword you want to say. And then the nonprofits. What a big success story it has been this week. This week, one viewer got money for rent from St. Vincent de Paul within a 24-hour turnaround time. Wanted to tell you about how wonderful it is. Another viewer got the same turnaround time for rent from United Way. Wanted you to know about that as well. Then another viewer got a brand new furnace and a brand new refrigerator and a fixed window from another nonprofit. What are the nonprofits? Here are 5 of them. United Way, Salvation Army. Catholic Charity, United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul. Again, that's United Way, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul, and Salvation Army. What's important to understand is that the nonprofits are featured also in the newsletter for members, and the nonprofits do things the federal government never can do. The nonprofits have different sums of money. They also have different eligibility. You don't have to be necessarily behind on rent. And then they just pay for different things. They often pay for clothing. They often pay for shelter for homeless people. They often pay for food, even sometimes nominal repairs. So they really do incredible God's work. Reach out to them. They were the big success story of this channel from 2020 to early 2021 in no less than 500 videos called Purple. And yes, they're back now on this channel with the big success stories. If you had success stories for any of the nonprofits, send me a private message and I'll feature it live on camera. The next pot of the money is the money coming back from Department of Agriculture for SNAP. I want you to get this money. It's a lot. Mark's brother-in-law got $21,000, but now he's sitting on top of $26,000. What's going on? Department of Agriculture is raising everyone's benefits up an average of 25% a lifetime. This is huge. Now, this has caused confusion. While everyone's benefits are going up an average of 25% a lifetime, every state, everywhere, people are getting one letter and not knowing there's a second letter behind it. Not your fault. It's the people who are sending out the letter that are making it confusing. The first letter says something along the lines of, the raise up of your SNAP from January to September is ending, so now your benefits are going to go down. Not a nice particular letter to get, of course. It does not say, by the way, there's a second letter right behind it because your benefits are now going to go up even more than they were before, upwards of 25% starting October. Yeah, so just stay calm and watch that second letter. Then there's unemployment benefits. Your unemployment benefits, if they're overpaid due to state computer errors, are coming back to you. Average payment is anywhere from $1,200 to anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. Reach out to your state for those tracking times. And finally, the refund check from IRS, where you paid taxes on the 2020 unemployment benefits. Average payment is $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. Where do you track it? Go to iris.gov and do a transcript search. 70% of the time it works. If you've gotten any of these sums of money, like Lynn Glenn and Gail who got money for SNAP, and Mark and Linda who got money for rent, post in the live chat. When you post your success stories for rent, utilities, food, or internet, you inspire other people to get these big sums of money. Meantime, if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. The link is in the video. Members are delivered daily from me to them, a breakdown of everything that they can get. It's the LA newsletter. It comes out Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that newsletter, delivered from the YouTube community page written by me and also the LA alert system, delineates the big money you can get under first, second, and third stimulus. What I want you to know is I want you to get money as far as you can into the future. So, if, for example, you're Mark, who got already $50,000, or Johnny, who got $80,000, or Lorraine, who got $100,000, or these other people who've gotten sums of money, like Nisi, who got $20,000, or Art Sullivan, who got 3 items, I want you to get more money. I want you to go back, and if you think that the place where you got the money before can't give anymore, go to another organization. I want you to get money for rent as far in the future, utilities as far as in the future, so that you get that paid for. You can either do it through the federal government or the nonprofits, because a lot of this money may not get repeated under fourth stimulus. Daily, that newsletter delineates the breakdown of money for first, second, and third stimulus and how you get it. Consider becoming a member. The link is under the video. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, starting right now with advocacy. Advocacy has been the core of this channel since day one. We've been advocating for stuff since the very first recording of this channel. And in fall of 2020, I got Americans a second stimulus check because I came with the idea of putting a stimulus check in continuing resolution. People thought I was crazy. Craziest idea they ever heard, because it doesn't belong in there. I knew it didn't belong in there. But you pushed and we advocated. This time along, we're doing it again. It started 8 weeks ago, where I said, pick up the phone and advocate to your senators to include a monthly stimulus check provision, which they had written they were doing. There was a House bill that said they were going to do it, but we still advocated because not a lot of people were talking about it. In fact, very few people were talking about it. Broadcast news channels weren't covering the subject. They're still not covering the subject because in a given day, they don't have time to cover this scope of coverage of a reconciliation budget bill. They don't have the programming time. This channel does. So I said, pick up the phone and advocate. And WR, a longtime viewer of this channel, did. He called Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's old confidant. Advocated, I need a stimulus check. My family needs a stimulus check. And that advocacy works. That advocacy worked. Coons' office told WR he's inserting a monthly stimulus check provision in the reconciliation budget bill. It was a world exclusive at the time, but yet some people wanted to be naysayers and say, well, it's just Chris Coons. How about everyone else? That was our call to action. Everything changed about 3 weeks ago, when at the time I was delivering world exclusives that I thought and believed and was reporting that the House would actually be writing the budget bill. We now know I was correct. That the House would be voting first on the budget bill. It looks like I'm going to be correct on that as well. And that there's 2 different budget committees. There's a House Budget Committee and the Senate Budget Committee. And that Bernie Sanders had emerged from negotiations in the month of July saying, I got the $3.5 trillion price tag. I had gone in asking for $7 trillion. I got $3.5 trillion. And that Bernie Sanders singularly was the important force in getting the reconciliation procedural bill passed. $3.5 trillion became law. It happened that week when Bernie Sanders told press, well, unlike other prior budget chairmen on the Senate, I like to get out amongst the people when writing a budget bill. I said, did you hear that? That is a call to action. That translates as he wants to hear from you, advocating what you want in that stimulus package. I said, pick up the phone and call Bernie Sanders' office. And at that time, everything started to snowball. It snowballed as Brother Joshua, Lynn Glenn, and Margaret, longtime viewers of this channel, picked up the phone and advocated. And Brother Joshua really advocated. Now, what does advocacy of stimulus look like? Advocacy of stimulus involves explaining why you need it, why your family needs it, your community, town, your business, your church, and bringing the emotion and heart of the situation to the listener. They may never have seen you. They probably have never seen you. They've certainly never seen or heard potentially your town, but they certainly understand your situation. And in the last few days, the last few hours, the advocacy of this channel has gone another level. Here is what Margaret said about her advocacy less than 48 hours ago. Honestly, the woman on the phone and I, when I was explaining everything I've been through, we started breaking down and crying. Then another viewer, whose name I'm withholding, picked up the phone and called and said, listen, during the pandemic, I lost my husband. I had 10 surgeries. I raised 2 teenage daughters on just an SSI and SSDI salary. I need it. That is what advocacy looks like. Advocating for something you need. I need it. My church needs it. My family needs it. My community needs it. And that's what Brother Joshua did. Longtime viewer of this channel, Purple Hawk, and community volunteer from 2020 who helped thousands of viewers get money for rent during the thick of the pandemic. He called Bernie Sanders' office and advocated, and they said yes. Senator Bernie Sanders will be giving you a monthly stimulus check, $1,000 to $1,400, 3 to 6 months. but he needs to hear your support. I said, hey, that's a call to action. He needs to hear your support. At the same time, some people are saying, but it's just Bernie. That was also our call to action, where I said, go reach out to as many different Democratic senators as you can and get the message out loud and clear. And Donnie, at that point, 3 weeks ago, got the floodgates opening. His first message after Brother Joshua really showed how this channel, how this community can get things moving very quickly. Donnie called up Bernie Sanders' office and I need it. This is why I need it. I need it for everything that's going on, for my water, everything that I've gone through. I need it. I need a fourth. And they said yes. Sanders' office said yes, we're giving a monthly stimulus check. Hurricane Tina on one of the shows yesterday said I advocated for a long time on that phone. I don't want to post publicly what I said, Tina said in the chat, but I absolutely advocated. And they said yes, we're giving you a stimulus check. The advocacy continued with people on show after show picking up the phone and calling Sanders, like Carolyn, who's always on Morning's Countdown, our 7 a.m. show, saying, listen, people are losing their homes, losing everything they got, they needed, and Sanders' office saying, yes, he's doing a monthly stimulus check. Yaya picking up the phone and calling Ron Wyden's office and advocating, and despite everything that Yaya has gone through, Wyden's office saying, yes, monthly stimulus check, and perhaps SS200 as well. Then the advocacy continued and took us to another level when Will showed us that you don't make one phone call, you make as many as your fingers can dial. In one day, he called Sanders, Warren, and also Schumer. And when he got Warren on the phone, Warren's office, they said, yes, Senator Warren's doing it. And her numbers were exactly what Pelosi wanted as well. Warren proposed 6 to 12 months, $1,400 to $2,000 to Will. And that is what Will advocates for as well. As I have been reporting earlier in this video, that is what Pelosi wanted, but they couldn't get the 12 months, and they couldn't get that $1,400 or $2,000 monthly. Lorica gave us a bombshell over a week ago when she told us that Bob Casey's office said he's inserting it in there as well, and that they're near finalization of negotiations on these provisions. It was at that point, by the end of last week, where I said, okay, you got the House, you got the senators, Schumer, Casey, Warren, Coons, Sanders, all saying they're doing it, all say they're inserting an MSC IRS stimulus check to thousands of viewers of this channel. Now time to turn to the House members, AOC, Jayapal, and Pelosi. Why was my statement critical at that point? Unbeknownst to me, Pelosi was the lead negotiator. Now, she was the lead negotiator in 2020, but I did not know she was the lead negotiator on the stimulus check provision among the Democrats. It was a critical, pivotal move, which I just happened to get lucky on, saying focus on the Democrats. And I also happened to get lucky because it was these four people that were actually writing the eventual inserted amendment to the bill. AOC, Jayapal, Omar, and Pelosi. And it started with people doing exactly what I said, which is go over to the House and start advocating with the House. Mark picked up the phone and called Pelosi's office. And Paul called AOC 2 Fridays ago, and AOC's office saying $1,000 a month after the first month of 2000. Janice, hearing me loud and clear, calling Jayapal's office and saying, and their office confirming they're doing a fourth stimulus check. Then Janice, by the middle of this last week, calling Omar's office, and Omar's office confirming to Janice they're doing a monthly fourth stimulus check. Mark getting incredible confirmation from Pelosi's office last Monday that the negotiations are near complete, that Pelosi has been negotiating for this, and that's $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000 running 6 to 12 months. Then by the end of the week, it continued with no less than a handful of other viewers, including Dragon, calling up Pelosi's office, calling up Omar's office, and calling up AOC's office and Jayapal's, and all the offices confirming over and over again to the viewers of this channel that one, the provision will be $1,000 a month after the first month of $2,000. It will run for 6 months. 2, it's being introduced on the House side. 3, the authors are Pelosi, Jayapal, AOC, and Omar. And number 4, it was the result of negotiations which have now either finalized or are near complete. Where are we right now? It's my guesstimate, because we don't know for certain because they haven't told us, and perhaps we'll know Monday or Tuesday. It's my guesstimate that AOC, Jalapal, Pelosi, and Omar have written this provision, that the provision is just going over through final markups, and that everything will be debuted early next week. It's important to understand that advocacy doesn't stop here. It doesn't stop at any moment. If you've called, you need to call more. If you haven't called, you need to start calling. Why? Because one, there's always the possibility you don't get something done. Number two, there's always the possibility someone says take something out. Number three, there's always the possibility that something doesn't sound right. Number four, there's always the possibility that the House gets it and the Senate, has a problem with something. You got to push. Advocacy starts today. I want you to go to your phone and get a pen and paper and write down AOC, Jalapal's, Omar's, and Pelosi's office and get ready to call them on Monday and advocate. I need it. My family needs it. My church needs it. My community needs it. I need it. I want you to emotionally connect with the listener. These Democrats were elected, and all politicians are elected, to advocate for you. And they want to feel like they're doing something to help people. And so if you explain why this pandemic has financially impacted you and why a stimulus check would change your life, then make that phone call Monday and Tuesday. Get those phone numbers ready today. All right, let's cut now to the debt ceiling limit and also fifth stimulus. First, fifth stimulus. This comes later this year, raises your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, removes the asset cap, preventing you from having more than $3,000 on hand, removes the income cap, and then removes the marriage penalty. The new benchmark inflation, where's it going to go? It may be over 5%. That means your benefits will go up one time, and then an additional 5% in December, if that's what the inflation rate is. Not just next year, but lifetime, because once your benefits go up one time for inflation, they never go down. Finally, the debt ceiling limit. Well, it's coming up this coming week, and by my account, I think it's going to not get taken care of. It's going to lapse. So let's go over 3 things that's important for you to know, because I've done this before. It's lapsed before on this channel, and I believe it's going to lapse next week, so I know exactly the questions you're asking, and I'm going to have the answers for you right now. Number 1, it does not have anything to do or any impact whatsoever in the month of September on the delivery of your checks. So if you receive Social Security checks, benefit checks, you're in the military and you receive a federal government check, you're a federal employee or a federal agency employee, and you receive a weekly check, monthly check, your employment checks or your benefits checks will be arriving on time. Why is this? Because it is very, very common, routinely, almost every year, that they miss the deadline by a few days. Sometimes they miss it by a week or 2 weeks. It is only an issue, it is only a potential issue for the delaying of your checks if this goes all the way into December, which is nearly 2 months from now. That's a once-in-a-generation occurrence. It doesn't look like it's happening just now. So if this continues in December, we'll address the situation then. But going late a few days, a few weeks, is not going to impact anything for your checks coming late. I wanted you to know this because I know it's important that you know you get your checks on time. Number 2. It has nothing to do with your stimulus package. It has nothing to do with your stimulus package. The debt ceiling limit concerns debt to pay existing law. I mean, it's sort of a novel concept. You have a debt because there's a law. You don't have a debt for something that is just in a pad of paper and a pencil and some Post-it notes in a congressional office. That's not creating any debt because there's not a law yet. Mitch McConnell was smooth like butter, criminal undercover, as BTS would say, last week by telling Americans that the RECON is not going to pass because the debt ceiling limit is not going to pass. No, one has nothing to do with the other. The only thing that's not going to get paid if the debt ceiling limit is not passed is Trump stuff and early Biden stuff, because those are law. It has nothing to do with something that's not law. Finally, work schedule. It has no impact whatsoever on the work schedule of your Democrats on getting the RECON done. Number 1, why? Because the House has already done it. They've already sent it over to the Senate. They've already sent the RECON thing. They've already sent the the debt ceiling thing limit over to the House, the Senate. It's already been done in the House. Number two, the Senate committee members that do the debt ceiling limit are not the same people that do this. And it doesn't clutter their schedule whatsoever. So there you go. Finally, the debt ceiling limit has nothing to do with the reconciliation budget bill. There was even a YouTuber who put a video out 2 days ago that said just passed, and then put the title in there for stimulus package update, and referred to the passage of the debt ceiling limit as somehow it's part of a stimulus package update. Debt ceiling limit has nothing to do with the stimulus package whatsoever. That is Mitch McConnell, fairy tale, or nightmare. There you go. Coming up later today, we have Overnight's Crypto. We have Evenings LALATE at 5 o'clock. It's going to be a big show. And then we have shows at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. It's important for you to stay with me all weekend long because guess what? Number one, the nonprofits, I want you to be laser focused, yeah. Ouch. Laser focus on getting that money for those nonprofits. If you've gotten any sums of money from this channel, I want you to get more money. I want you to start getting that money. I don't care if you've gotten $20,000. I don't care if you got $30,000. I don't care if you got $400. I want you to go back to those nonprofits and now get other sums of money for yourself. I want you to get this big cash infusion of the $13 billion from the federal government, or at least try to. I want you to get as much utilities and food and internet as you can. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul, detailed on the newsletter for members. Hopefully you're a member. If you haven't become one, the link is under the video. Then I want you to get ready to call AOC Jalapal, Omar, and Pelosi's office, the number 4 House Democrats, on Monday to ensure everything is pushed out the door. I also want you to make a promise to yourself, to the family, to this community, and myself, that you'll continue to push throughout the steps. Before the bill is released, you're going to push and advocate. When the bill is released, you're going to advocate. When the bill is passed by the House, you're going to advocate. When the bill is in the Senate, you're going to advocate. There's no stopping of the avocation until it's actually signed by the president, because we have these different steps to do. And with that, I look forward to seeing you later throughout the day. Join me next on Overnight's Crypto and Evenings LALATE, and then those new shows. So subscribe. Before 400,000 subscribers on YouTube record, I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.